Well, welcome everyone. I was just telling Brian, really loving the energy in the room, right? The energy in this tent and energy in our new headquarters. But before we get started, wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Natalie Gosh. I was the project manager for this build, and my role, thank you. My role in this was to deliver on the vision that Cargill and Protein leadership had cast. And so hopefully you see that in all aspects of the building and as we work in the building.
Wow, good morning. This is pretty cool, huh? So we've got 1,000 of you in here. Our team asked for a tent of 1,500. We said we thought 1,000 might be enough to help us celebrate this. So welcome. Those of you who know me know that I tend to wander, so when I speak with my team, I usually ask for grace because there's a few things I want to get said, and I sometimes meander getting there, but so if you'll stay with me, and it's going to be a great day, so it's an exciting time. We've got a few people we want to recognize to start with, but first I want to recognize Natalie and the steering committee. Would you guys stand up, please, and let us recognize you guys? So this team, along with all of our partners that helped put this together, are the ones responsible, and they did that as part of their day job. So we were kidding, they didn't get any extra pay for doing that, but we're not going to deduct now that they don't have to work as hard, so that's the good news. So Cargill employees, welcome. Retirees, I'd like for you retirees to stand up, please. Let us recognize you. So I have at least, that I've seen today, I have at least 4 bosses, ex-bosses that are here retired, and 1 current, my wife Dana, but 4 retired bosses. So thank you guys for coming. The other thing is I can be known to be a little bit of an emotional wimp, so if that happens, forgive me as well. I'm going to try really hard not to do that today, but it's a meaningful day for us. Community members, business leaders, local partners, customers, vendors, and media, welcome. We've got a few special guests that I'm going to call out and recognize, and if you all would stand and remain standing and let us recognize you once I get through the list. Lieutenant Governor Tracy Mann's with us today. Secretary of Agriculture Jackie McClaskey. Secretary of Transportation Richard Carlson. You guys follow directions like my kids do. State Director Mel Thompson. Deputy Director Mike Zammerslaw. Sorry, Mike. I practiced that and still screwed it up. Zammerslaw. District Director Debbie Looper. And then we have several other guests that the mayor is going to recognize. So it's a big day for us today. To me, it's a symbolic day. You guys know that the world is changing fast. Customers demand more of us than they ever have. Our employees ask more of us than they ever have. Our NGOs, governments, so we have to respond. And our leadership team started about 3 years ago. We read a book called Legacy and decided we wanted to do business differently. And so this building is a bit of a symbol, really. It's a physical symbol of what we started and what we're trying to do. And it's done for not just our current employees and current customers, but those that'll come after us. So it's a really exciting time for us. I'll talk about the building in a minute, but we have a vision that Wichita can become the Silicon Valley of protein. And that's an easy statement to say and a hard thing to follow through, and a lot of people can maybe scoff at that. But let me tell you why I think that has to happen. We've got some of the world's greatest challenges that we have to solve. We're going to put 2.5 billion people on this earth in the next 30 years. It took 6,000 years to get to 1 billion. 1903 was when they estimate we got the first population of 1 billion people. It took 123 years to get to 2 billion. So we're going to put 2.5 billion on this earth in the next 30 years. We've got to feed those people. We've got to do that with the same or less arable land, the same or less water. We've got to deal with carbon emissions at the same time. By the way, about 1 out of 9 folks go to bed today food insecure. So it's a big challenge we have in front of us. But it's a pretty cool challenge when the company you work for has a purpose statement that says we will be the leaders in nourishing the world in a safe, responsible, and sustainable way. So I have confidence we'll get that done. But we'll only get it done if we can attract the very best and brightest minds that the world has. And they're not all going to come from Wichita or Kansas or Texas. We're going to have to broaden the tent we search and fish at, no pun intended, to get those minds here. And we're going to have to embrace technology like we've never done. But we can solve this problem, and we will solve this problem. It is a great responsibility and a great opportunity for us, and one that our team's excited about. So we've got to cast a vision that will get people here. We've got to have a city that comes along beside us, that when people get here, they feel welcome. And our city is doing that and supporting us. And we've got to have a culture that says, it doesn't matter where you came from or what walk of life, that if you want to be a great teammate, if you want to solve difficult problems, if you want to work with high integrity and great talented people, and you love to win and hate to lose, then we're going to have a great place for you to work. And that's what we're after. So this building, again, symbolizes a lot of that, the technology that's here. There's so many cool spots. You're going to get a small tour of it. You're not going to get to see it all, I don't think, today, but you're going to get to see a small tour of it. And what's great about this building is that group that I introduced, and then the rest of our folks. It was a crowdsourced kind of situation that we partnered with some of the best contractors locally, best artists, some on a national level, and they brought their skills and tools, and they listened to our team. And the outcome is just spectacular. My leadership team was in Silicon Valley last week, and we were at Google, YouTube, Salesforce.com, some pretty cool places. And I don't think any of us thought we saw a cooler place than this one sitting here in Wichita, Kansas. So I'm going to highlight a few things. And everything you see here, again, was what our employees said they wanted. We asked them, where do you want to be, east or west or downtown, by the river, in Old Town? They said they wanted to be in Old Town, so here we are. They said they wanted open spaces, so we built a park that's just incredible, and Wi-Fi outdoors. And they said they didn't want to park in 5 or 6 parking garages and have to walk in the snow and rain, and so we have a beautiful parking garage that the city helped us build, that the city has access to in the evenings, that you have covered when you come in and walk in. We have immersive technology here that's world-class, where you can sit in a meeting and have a conversation with Buenos Aires or Geneva or Shanghai and feel like you're sitting in the same room. Every detail's been thought about. Our boardroom's named the Chisholm Boardroom, and again, no accident. Our employees came up with that. Just on the north side of our building is the Chisholm Trail. I can go on about what's special about this building. Maybe my favorite part of the building or part of the story is there's 800 plates. It's called the plate wall. When you go in, if you haven't seen it, take a stop by and look at that. And the team came up with it, and they felt like it was on the edge, but they decided to do it, and I'm so glad they did. Those plates were made by a local artist out of clay from right here. And the idea of humble roots and humble beginnings and servicing customers and feeding customers, but not just feeding them, nourishing and bringing community of family and friends together around food and meals is what we do. So there's so much symbolism in the building. I said to an earlier group this morning that, I can brag on this building because I had absolutely nothing to do with it. And I was strategic when I did that because I didn't think it would go this well. So I was giving myself an out. Now I'm sorry that I was so clear that I stated that at the beginning. But I want to step back and thank a few people. We stood in front of not a group this large, but a pretty large group at the chamber a couple years ago and declared that we were going to stay in Wichita. And it was the right move, and we committed when we did that we would be great community partners. We have over a 40-year legacy here in Wichita, and again, it was the right move. And you know, at that point, let me step back. Before we made that announcement, we said that, hey, we're looking. We're not sure we can win in Wichita with the vision that we have for this business. And the phone rang, and it was the previous governor, and then the mayor, and the city, the Greater Wichita Partnership, and everybody said, no, this is the right place for Cargill, and we're going to help you see that vision, and they have. And so it's been a joint effort all along. And so I just want to thank the state, the city, the Wichita Partnership. There's so many people that have invested, and we're really proud to be here and to make this our home. And you know, our folks are unbelievable. They show up at every community event. They're involved in their churches, in the schools, in the community, and activities. If there's a cleanup going on, we have the mayor says that we punch above our weight. Our people show up and they contribute, and we do those things financially as well. You know, just some good news and fun facts. The building holds 950 people. We thought we'd move in with 750. We're moving in with over 800. We'll be full in less than 2 years. We own a building across the street here to the west that we already have plans starting to be developed that we're got to remodel or rebuild to house more people. And so in conclusion, I just want to thank everybody that has been a part of this. Again, it is a tie to our history, and we wanted to recognize that. When you look out in our courtyard, we have a great sign. It's the original XL sign. Came off the original building on 21st Street, I think. We're trying to figure out how old it is. I'm told it's 50 years old, maybe older. It's probably a ton sign, about 2,000 pounds, ton. They made a table out of it, but it'll say it. We saved that, and again, it's to tie the history that we have, but also to point towards the future that we have and the legacy that we want to make sure we leave behind. So thank you for being a part of it. I'm certainly humbled to be a part of it, and appreciate all of you coming out and sharing this moment with us. So I'm honored to introduce the mayor, Jeff Longwell.
Well, thank you, Brian Sykes, and truly this is a special day, and good morning to the Cargill family, the community leaders, and all of those that truly made this day possible. I too want to quickly introduce some special guests, so if I could have the county commissioners that are here stand up, and I want to introduce you. Go ahead and stand up now, and I'll try and remember your names. We have Chairman David Dennis, we have Commissioner Pete, you don't get to stand for both. We have Commissioner Unruh, we have Commissioner Howell, and we have Commissioner O'Donnell. Thank you all for being here. If I could have the city council stand up, and we have the vice mayor already standing, so you'll have to jump up and clap. So we do have Vice Mayor Brian Fry in the back of the room. We have Commissioner-elect Pete Meitzner, that's still a city council member until about January 10th. We have Councilmember Cindy Claycomb, we have Councilmember Brandon Johnson, and Councilmember James Clendon, and thank you all for your support. So I want to go off script just briefly, Becky. It'll be just a moment. But just a few short months of being named mayor of this great city, I received that phone call from Cargill that said, hey, Mayor, just want to give you a heads up. We're going to try and find a place that we can call home for the next 70 years. And oh, by the way, it might not be in Wichita. And as I said to many groups before, it was a tough process to go through to sell Wichita. And it probably took 5 years off my life, but as Brian Fry would say, that's easily a fair price to pay for what we're getting. It's worth it because it truly validates. So when you hear someone say, why Wichita? Have them come and tour Cargill. So I just want to share that we are truly honored to be a part of this historic moment. Both Cargill Protein and the City of Wichita, this project is a source of pride for many in this community, especially me. Let me be the first one to officially welcome you to Old Town. What a great addition. So the Cargill Protein has been a long-standing pillar of our community, and I'm thrilled that you're here to grow, innovate along with us, and continue to bring talented people to Wichita. And just one step in the building, I think, will help corral them. Through donations, partnerships, and through your own success, Cargill Protein has made Wichita stronger, and I'm looking forward to continuing working together. Cargill truly has made a difference in our community, and they will continue to do that for generations to come. Thank you very much. So I want to introduce next Councilmember Levonta Williams. When I say we have a whole room of people that fought and cried and now get to celebrate, she was certainly on the team when we were going through both fighting and crying and now celebrating this momentous occasion. So former Councilmember Levonta Williams would like to invite you up and share some remarks. Thank you.
First of all, good morning to each and every one of you. What a great day this is today. And thank you, Mayor Longwell. You know, for 10 years, I served this community as the District 1 City Council member, and I'm so proud to continue working and volunteering my time in the community and being a part of so many community organizations. And I might as well tell you, this building is located in District 1, which is the district that I served, one of the best districts in the city. So thank you. And Cargill has a significant impact on the city of Wichita as a large provider of jobs and an excellent community partner. The job growth, the employee volunteerism, and community giving have all contributed to Wichita being the thriving community it is today. I see Cargill employees on committees and on boards and within our community almost every single day, and we thank Cargill for that. Some may ask, how involved have you been? Well, we had to have this building. We had to have Cargill stay here. But I've also had the pleasure of working with Cargill previously on its inclusion and diversity goals. As the first woman elected from my district, again, District 1, and the first African-American woman to serve as the vice mayor for the city of Wichita, the topic of inclusion and diversity is very, very important to me. And it is one of Cargill Protein's main business priorities. Cargill Protein aspires to be the best place to work. We have Cargill employees here and retired employees. Is this the best place to work? Absolutely. And in order to do that, they knew that they had to do a few things different. And this included creating an environment that enables employees to bring all of their identities, their insecurities, their unconscious biases, and their passions to the table, and is still a safe place. They wanted to enable people to not only see, but to feel the positive impact that inclusion and diversity is having on their everyday lives. Prioritizing inclusion and diversity efforts because Cargill realized that in order to be effectively engaged in new markets, sustain brand reputation, and recruit and retain talent, a business must be both diverse and inclusive. Cargill has been working so hard with Inclusion and Diversity Council and the representatives from the 6 business resource groups. And these groups are Pride, Women's Leadership, Ebony Group, Young Professional Group, Veteran and Military Support Group, and Latino and Hispanic. When you bring all of those groups to the table and you have inclusion and diversity talks on a regular basis and bring in speakers to speak with the different organizations and the different diversities, you have a win-win solution in your business. Cargill has been working hard with this inclusion and diversity business, and we are so happy for that. They are also creating awareness about diversity, integrating it into their everyday business practices, and building and sustaining an inclusive culture. While Cargill Protein is proud of its achievements, the organization is quick to say they still have more work to do. But some organizations need to start in order to have this type of response. Research has shown time and time again that diverse teams outperform non-diverse teams. Cargill knows this, and it wants to succeed, and it also wants Wichita to succeed. In closing, Cargill also has 3 company values, and that are also adding to their success. And I was so appreciative to hear this when I met with them before. One of their values for the company is do the right thing. The other one is to reach higher. And they have done this in providing this building to their employees, one of the finest buildings that I think will be in the country. And the last value that Cargill has, and President Brian Sykes really alluded to this, and that is put people first. Put people first is one of Cargill's main goals. And I can tell you that they realize that building a building is just a building, but the people that serve should come first. And I thank Cargill for making sure that they remained here in Wichita, Kansas, and a part of our Kansas state. So thank you so much for having me here today. And I am now so pleased to introduce my friend and Kansas Senate President, Susan Wagle.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Levanta for being a pioneer of inclusion and diversity as an elected official on the City Council and in her personal life. We really appreciate all you've done. Thank you, Levanta. And to the Cargill team, thank you for staying in Kansas. 2 years ago, you made a critical decision. Should Cargill Protein find a new home or maintain its current headquarters located here in Wichita? Should these jobs leave the state of Kansas or stay here in my Senate district? Today is a day to celebrate the great decision you made and the continued commitment Cargill has shown to Wichita and to the state of Kansas. And to all the 800 employees who can come to work in this beautiful new building and in this fantastic community, congratulations and thank you for everything you do. The new building and the jobs retained and created are a perfect example of a public-private partnership and a success story. Cargill identified a need. The company needed a new building that reflected the innovative and entrepreneurial spirit of the business and the community it called home. The new headquarters demonstrates what is possible when corporate and political leaders partner to promote economic growth. The state of Kansas was critically engaged in the success story that we are celebrating today. The Kansas Department of Commerce and the Department of Transportation joined forces to provide critically important incentives that enabled Cargill to create this innovative work environment and that will encourage growth for the company, for the community, and our state. This cutting-edge workspace will help Cargill attract and retain the best and most talented workforce. As I travel throughout the state, I'm impressed by the talent coming out of Wichita State, Kansas State, and Kansas University. And I can't wait to see the innovative new ideas that are going to be born here in Old Town. I remember well in 2012 when Dr. Bardot, our president of Wichita State University, came back to our university. He had a doctorate degree from here. He was a specialist in sociology and economics, and he came in with an idea to grow South Central Kansas. And he looked at statistics, he looked at what we could do, where we could grow, who we could partner with, and he said, look, the I-35 corridor is by far the fastest growing corridor in the United States that starts in Laredo, Texas, goes through Duluth, Minnesota, and it's going to be a giant mega region. It could be city in the future all the way up from the border. And he said, let's work on partnerships and communications with those who reside along the I-35 corridor. And he started with 30 students just a few years ago who lived out of state along the I-35 corridor. And with incentives he's offered, he now has 700 students who can drive home to Oklahoma City or Dallas, see their parents, but they love WSU, they love what's going on here. A lot of them are in the engineering program, and we are growing a workforce for Cargill and for our other companies, and we are in Wichita, Kansas, and Kansas City, right along that fastest growing corridor, and we're gonna see an explosion of growth as we feed the world, and as we network with those along this corridor. So this is the result of a very exciting vision from Cargill and those people who live and work here in this community. So now I'm going to give the microphone back to the young lady that we started the event with, our visionary and the woman who helped create this great facility, Natalie Ghosh.
All right. Well, again, what a terrific day. And while I have this platform, also, Becky, going to go off script just a little bit. Two quick things. As I look across the sea of faces out here, a lot of folks that contributed to the project, whether they were employees on the employee design committees or our vendors and contractors that helped us. And first off, we had fun, didn't we? It was a lot of fun in the project, so I see a lot of smiles and nods. But then secondly, just a sincere thank you. For those of you that don't know, I'm a local girl. I grew up in Mulvane, about 10 miles south of here. My dad's a veterinarian, grew up wheat farming, cattle, and so to be able to deliver a project like this on a vision like this, it's very special for me because for a company that I love and for a community that I love. So thank you again. And appreciate everybody's help and contributions.